The Hanukah Light series is sponsored by Mr. and Mrs. Max and Anita Benatar. Leilu Nishma Din Alea Basar Rasha, Part 5. It's time to get a bit deeper. The first book ever written on earth is called Sefer Yetzirah. Some attribute it to Avraham Avinu. There is a concept that is discussed in that book, which is referred to as Ashan, which stands for Olam, Shana, Nefesh. Everything on earth, Olam, corresponds to a time of year, Shana, such as a holiday or Yom Tov. Everything on earth, Olam, has a soul, a Nefesh, which corresponds to a particular limb of a body. Every holiday, Shana, corresponds to another limb, Nefesh, as well. One is dependent on the other. Let me explain in more detail. On earth, there are areas that have light all the time. Corresponding to this is the holiday of Hanukah, holiday of light. Our body also has limbs that depend on light, our eyes. All these three elements, earth, year, and soul, draw their strength from the Bet HaMikdash. Therefore, every place on earth corresponds to one of the vessels of the temple. There is a place opposite the Aron where the Keruvim hover on top. There are places that have light all year, like the menorah. There are places that contain lots of riches and blessings, like the Shulchan and the golden Mizbeach. There are even places on earth that desist from metal, like the Bermuda Triangle, corresponding to the outer Mizbeach, which cannot have any metal waved over it. Shavuot, the tablets. Yom Kippur, the Holy of Holies. Pesach, the Shulchan. Chanukah, the menorah. Same with the parts of the body. The brain, the Kodesh HaKodashim, the Holy of Holies. The eyes, the menorah. The mouth, the Shulchan. Our breath, the inner golden Mizbeach. Our intestines, the outer Mizbeach. So if all three are connected to the Bet HaMikdash, then any alteration to the temple will affect these three elements. This secret was known to the Greeks, and that's why they chose not to destroy the temple. Nebuchadnezzar didn't know this secret. He besieged the city and laid it to ruin. At that point, Am Yisrael began to receive its blessing from God Himself until the second Bet HaMikdash was rebuilt. The Greeks ruled the world and conquered Israel, but they never touched the temple in order to keep their abundance intact. Unfortunately, they did contaminate it. And the moment that impurity spread, any shefa and bracha that came from the heavens to the Bet HaMikdash was also contaminated. The Greeks managed to nullify the concept of Olam, Shana, and Nefesh. They decreed to stop Shabbat observance, which corresponds to the creation of the world, which corresponds to Olam. They decreed to nullify Rosh Chodesh, thus canceling the holidays, or Shana. And lastly, they nullified the Brit Milah, corresponding to the Nefesh. As they said, right on the horn of an ox, that you have no part in the God of Israel. That statement was the last blow to subdue the Neshama. How did they manage to overcome and subdue an entire nation? They entered the Bet HaMikdash and contaminated their Kodesh HaKodashim, sending a fatal blow to the nation's spirit and soul. Since everything that happens in the Mikdash has a direct influence on the Jewish people, it was heartbreaking. Vice versa, by impurifying the bodies of the Jews, the vessels of the temple were negatively affected. They defiled their minds by instilling in them all kinds of heretical philosophies. That was the Kodesh HaKodashim. They took good Jews and brought them to places of sin and defiled their eyes. That was the menorah. They removed Jews from their own Shabbat tables and brought them to environments of treif, terefah. That was the Shulchan. They snipped the bond between them and their Father in heaven. That was a golden Mizbeach of incense. They sang foreign music of idol worship, and that corresponded to the songs of the Leviim. They wore the clothes of the Gentiles and thus defiled the clothing of the Kohanim. So Yefet comes to Noach, his father, and says, "Tell me, Dad, why does Shem really have it better than me? What does he have that's better than me? Where is his neshama?" Tune in for part 6 tomorrow.